Hi, Preston Saxophone Ed Group. This week we're going to have a miniature lesson on slap tonguing. First, I will explain to you how it works physically and kind of give you a description. And then I will give you some incremental exercises you can do to get better, to give you a really nice, loud slap tongue. I would like to start by saying that I don't think slap tongue is the best descriptive name of what's actually happening, and I think that really is misleading for students. Slap tonguing, it obviously means we should slap the reed, right? Which is ram tonguing. It's not slap tonguing. That's not at all how we slap tongue. A much better, I think, name could possibly be pizzicato tonguing, because it's more in line with what's happening physically. When a string player does pizzicato, they pull the string off, and it's the vibration of the string snapping back that creates this sort of plucked sound, right? In the same way with slap tonguing, what we do is we pull the reed with our tongue and then let go of it quickly, and then it snaps back and vibrates and makes the sound. So pizzicato, I think, is much closer. I'll still call it slap tonguing just because that's what everyone else calls it, and I don't want to be confusing. But I do think it's important to point out that there's really no slap involved other than the sound of the slap. Now, what's happening when we slap tongue and how we're gripping the reed with our tongue to pull it off, as in pizzicato, is we use our tongue as a suction cup. So if you imagine my hand as my tongue, you push it flat up against the reed and you pull back the center or somewhere on the tongue, you pull it back while maintaining the contact with the reed around the part you pull back. And that creates a vacuum, just like a suction cup. And then when you pull the tongue off, it pops. It sounds like this. Right? So that's just a suction with no air behind it. To get a louder sound, you put air behind it. Right? So that's kind of the mechanics of how a slap tongue works. Many of you probably have a good understanding of that. Then the question is, well, how do you learn how to do it? Because it really involves training the muscles of your tongue. What I tell students to do is you grab first like a credit card, and I'm going to use my Brunswick Zone player's card. It's pretty exciting. It's for some video games. And then you can use this because it's a nice, flat, big surface, and you can use a lot of your tongue. So what you do is you don't even think about saxophone or slap tongue or anything. You just simply try to grip the card with your tongue. When you grip it with your tongue, you're pulling the tongue back, and it's suctioning. Surface area makes it much easier to start with this. The next thing would be to start trying it on the reed on your saxophone. You can take the reed off and do it with that, or you can keep it on the mouthpiece, which is also fine. The bigger saxophones at first are going to be easier, tenor and bari, because there's more surface area to cover, right? The main thing is that you have to be very comfortable with the fact that you need to, at first, let your embouchure go. Don't think about it. Get outside the box of how it feels when you play, and just put a ton of your tongue up against the reed, as if it's that card, and grip the reed. And start gripping it and pulling back and getting used to how that feels, right? Now what happens as you get better at it is you can start to then use what is closer to your embouchure. So the first thing is you use the card, then you use the reed with no embouchure, and then you use sort of an embouchure where you're taking in a ton of mouthpiece, and you do it that way. Like that, right? And then incrementally you take less and less of the mouthpiece in and less tongue on the reed, because you'll get better at making that pocket. You're essentially training your tongue muscles to take the pocket and make it smaller and move it closer to the front of the tongue. Eventually, after some work, and this can take months for people to train this muscle, you'll be able to move the pocket of air pretty much to the tip of your tongue. It'll be very small. It allows you to pizzicato, or slap tongue really fast and really control. There's all sorts of different articulations you can do with the pizzicato. from more resonant to less resonant. You can have pretty much just a percussive slap, or you can add pitch to it in varying degrees. Right? We have as many possibilities as you can imagine, and that has to do with the air, and less to do with the slap tongue. The mechanics of the slap tongue are really quite simple in what we talked about. If there's anything about this that anyone has any questions about, you can email me on my website. You can go to the email contact, or you can Facebook message me, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. I wish you luck with your slap tongue. I think it's a really fun sort of technique that we have to use if we can learn how to do it. And happy practicing. Thank you.